Son.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. Welcome to a Tuesday, the second day of December for 2025. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic standing by. We've got all of your news, weather, and sports that you need to get out the door here this morning. Thanks for joining us. A lot to talk about here today. Of course, the big news out of Nebraska yesterday, the Huskers getting rid of defensive coordinator John Butler. We'll talk a lot about that throughout the show here today. The Nebraska basketball team's getting ready for their games this week. The women will take on Bradley tomorrow night at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Meanwhile, the men has got a big game against the Creighton Blue Jays on Sunday. Hastings College basketball teams returning from their Thanksgiving holiday break. They resume conference play tomorrow night in Fremont against Midland. High school basketball season gets underway this week. In fact, all three city teams will be in action on Thursday. We got some coaching news that we'll talk about here this morning. Last night's NFL game won by New England. They beat the New York Giants by the score of 33-15. And now the Patriots, the inside track to maybe taking the number one seed in the AFC. The Patriots are now 11-2. On the season. So all that and more is coming up this morning as we wake up and get going this morning. Welcome in to Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios, and thanks for joining us on video today. Everything working fine. You're looking good.
I discovered this. We always say, the best thing about Extreme Sports is the fact that we hired ourselves an IT guy. I would like a part of that IT guy. Like, I want to do what he does to make the figures that he does. Because if you work in IT, one of the biggest things that you tell people to do is, hey, well, try turning it off and turning it on again. That's an old standing IT joke, right? Turn it off, turn it on again, and if you're still experiencing problems, give me a call back. So, you can do a six-figure salary by telling somebody to turn it off and turn it on again. We turned it off, turned it on again, and lo and behold, the camera works. We tried it yesterday during the show. It didn't, but then, literally 5 minutes after the show concludes, we redo the off and on again method, and lo and behold, she works like a light bulb. So I want six figures to tell people to, well, can you try turning it off and turning it on again and let me know in 5 minutes?
That seems like the going thing. Yeah, it seems like the going thing for an IT guy. Yeah, did you try turning it on and off? It usually boots back up. And then it makes you look like an idiot when you call the IT guy and say that something's not working and you just turn it on and turn it off.
To be fair, it's really hard to try to turn something off and on again while we're also trying to be on a microphone. There was a lot happening, and it was right at the worst possible time in the segment where I noticed my camera was wigging out. And so, anyways, we're back. Hi, everybody. You can see my lovely face here again this morning. I'm sure that was the first thing that wanted to greet you on a Tuesday morning. God, can it warm up? I am over this state, man.
We're just getting started with this crap.
Yeah, and every year I tell myself that I'm getting over this state a little bit sooner and sooner and sooner. We made it one day. We made it one day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm mentally checked out. Nebraska can just cease to exist. I hate this. We're going to experience this for the next 9 months. We didn't get a fall, period. We got no fall, zero. There was not one day where I'm like, nice crisp fall morning. I think I'll go sit on my porch and enjoy a nice cup of coffee. Football weather. We got blazing hot summer sun all the way until it freaking snowed. And then we didn't get a spring. So the things that I enjoy most about this lovely state, I'm not even getting anymore. I'm moving. I'm out. I'm done. Adios, Nebraska. Your weather sucks.
Your football team kind of sucks.
Oh, Jesus.
We've got
John Butler. Here we go.
All right, let's get started. That was the news shortly again after we got off the air yesterday. The breaking news that John Butler is out as the defensive coordinator at Nebraska. Maybe not a surprise the way the defense played in the last 2 weeks against Penn State and Iowa. But I kind of like John Butler. I don't know so much as a coach, but maybe as a person and just the way he spent time with the media and his press conferences, and he was to the point, gave us something to talk about usually throughout the year. But as a football coach, the last 2 weeks the season, not very good, obviously. In the blowout losses to Penn State and Iowa, and that was enough for Matt Rule to pull the plug. Maybe the first of several changes on the staff even before we get to the bowl game. Were you surprised on the timing?
No, because I think the mark of any football program that is making steps in the right direction means that some of the issues are getting resolved and some of the issues are getting fixed. Our issues, in fact, as time went on, unraveled and got worse. The bubblegum and twisty ties, at some point you run out of juicy fruit and you can't plug the hole any bigger. You got to use different methods, and we didn't. And the defense actually degressed in terms of their maturation and their development. I felt like we got worse as the season went along, and then that's not a good sign. There was development issues on that defense. You know, how many times did I tell you, like, next man up, like, we got to find another defensive lineman that can make a tackle? Well, it is very realistically possible that the entire defensive unit was underdeveloped. And at the end of the day, that falls on your defensive coordinator. And then at the end of the day, like, you need to put a scheme together to be able to stop a basic blast left and blast right. I mean, the intricacies of the Kirk Ferentz Iowa offense were no better than any C1 high school football team in central Nebraska. It's simple blast left, blast right, and they were gashing us for 25, 30 yards of carry. So, like, yeah, cuts had to be made. And you know, here we go again, right? Like I said it yesterday morning when we were talking about the Iowa loss. Like, this is copy, paste, wash, rinse, repeat. Everything that we've seen over the course of the last 20 years. Now you got Coach Rule saying, "Okay, I am now realizing that there's the simmering water underneath my feet is starting to get a little hotter." Starting to come to a little bit more boil. There's a lot of fans who are pissed off and angry about the way this season ended, and he even said in his press conference, rightfully so. But at some point, you have to start, or I should say, stop. Like, his chest has to be bruised with the amount of times that he's pointed the finger at himself and taken accountability and taken blame. And I think he finally came under that realization, like, hey, I got to protect my own ass. I got to bring in a staff to make things work, and just the way visually from Tony White's defense a year ago to this defense now, the way, like, again, and Butler was in charge of the secondary. Dude, our secondary was legit this year, right? Like, nobody could pass against us, but his heads were in the clouds when it came to stopping the run, and that's where teams make their bread and butter, and that's the most simple part of the game. And if teams can run the football on you, they're going to have a very successful day. We couldn't stop the run. At the end of the day, it was time for him to go. I think it's the first domino to fall. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see news on the offensive line. I mean, that's got to be next. The offensive line issues were tremendous and never got better this season. And because of that, if you're firing Butler on those standards, you got to get rid of Dom.
All right, that could come soon if it's going to happen. It's going to be the third year in a row that Nebraska has changed defensive coordinators. Of course, and we're in the same scenario as we were last year. Tony White leaving. John Butler came in and took us in the bowl game, and then they continued on. Now Butler is gone, and Phil Snow, who has been on staff, he's been kind of the associate head coach and the overseer of everything for the Nebraska football program. He's been named the interim defensive coordinator for the upcoming bowl game. Anyway, going back to the numbers for the Husker defense, they finished the regular season 22nd in the country in total defense. And as Tyson mentioned, they struggled to stop the run, finishing 97th in rushing defense, allowing opponents to run for more than 200 yards per game in 5 games this season. In fact, in Nebraska's 5 regular season losses, the Big Red allowed an average of 223 yards rushing.
Yep.
And the Huskers also struggled in the red zone, finishing 135th overall in red zone defense, allowing opponents to score on 30 of 31 trips inside the red zone. And those numbers add up to your departure. John Butler is out. Phil Snow is in as the interim defensive coordinator as the Huskers made a change. Also, Omaha World Herald is reporting this morning that 2 people within the athletic office and the recruiting
sources.
department.
Those are sources. Yeah, sources.
Yeah, sources are
Here
indicating that 2 people within the recruiting department of the Nebraska football program have also been let go. So they're making some changes. Have you got some comments on the firing of John Butler? We would love to hear from you today. We got plenty of time to chat. 402-834-1330 is the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line today. 402-834-1330. I'd like to hear your thoughts maybe on the firing of John Butler. Who is next? What do you want to see here during the early portion of the off season as the Huskers finish up the year at 7-5 as they get ready for the bowl game coming up? Leave us a message on the social media sites who are monitoring those comments as well. But again, John Butler fired yesterday as a defensive coordinator. 402-834-1330 is a number to chime in with us here today.
Perhaps the biggest question now, moving forward, and perhaps a question for the live lobby as well. Now, who do we get? Who do we go after? I'll tell you who I want.
Who's that?
Bo.
He's not coming back here.
Why not?
Bo Pelini is not coming back here.
Why wouldn't you?
He left on sour terms.
Yeah, with a bad administration.
He has been out of football for years.
Was a fruitcake.
He's been out of football how many years?
Who cares?
I like Bo, but his last stint at LSU was a disaster. He's been out of football since then. He's not coming back.
He had a coach that chewed grass at LSU. I think that the dichotomy between Bo Pelini and Matt Rule would work. Like the good cop, bad cop, Bert Ernie, that would work.
Scooby and Shaggy like us?
Scooby and Shaggy are like very similar, right? Like it's a dog that likes treats and a hippie that likes to eat. These two are so polar opposite that I think it would work. You got a guy in Rule who's so humble, who's so loyal to his players and to his guys, and he tries to build them up and he takes all the accountability. And then you got Bo, who ain't afraid to throw anybody under the bus. You saw the game. Tell me what you thought. I mean, that parallel would work so great. And money talks, man. Money talks, and Bo was, I think, well liked by the fan base. And I remember, very specifically, people were not upset with Bo Pelini after this season. Maybe some people were, I would say your, let's say, old school Nebraska football fans, the Nebraska nice football fans, the greatest fan base and that treats everybody with respects and claps for their opponents when they leave. That fan base was probably a little upset because Bo was animated, man. And he would not be afraid to scream and shout and throw temper tantrums. And so I think the old fan base was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I don't like this guy. I love the fire. I love the passion. We need an old school football guy that ain't afraid to yell at somebody and tell him like it is and make him go make a play. And our defense made a lot of plays when we had Bo. So I'm saying 1-800, call up Bo.
Oh, no.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not me joking. This is me being extremely serious. Call Bo Pelini.
He'd be number one in your list?
1,000% yes.
Wow. How old is Bo Pelini now?
I don't know.
Yeah,
does it matter?
No, but we haven't heard from him for a long time since his stint down there at LSU.
But he still knows how to coach a defense.
Yeah, he hasn't been around for a while.
Bet he still knows how to coach a defense. Go get Bo before Lane Kiffin gets him at LSU. We need Bo back.
That's what Ryan Martin, he's chiming in on.
He's on the Bo train.
I guess
I'm getting y'all fired up. Let's go.
I like Bo Pelini, but I can't see him coming back here.
You're gonna think about it and stew on it all day, and then you're gonna come back tomorrow and say we need Bo Pelini.
I guess I don't have anyone in mind. Maybe the Stoops guy from Kentucky who just got fired over the weekend. The Stoops guy from Kentucky. I don't know who else would be out there. I saw a lot of people going to the total defensive statistics last night. And like the ESPN statistics, and they circled all the teams that, well, I don't know these defensive coordinators at these schools, but let's start here. Everybody that was not in the Big Ten or some of the power conferences we knew that we couldn't get, they go down. I think Toledo was in the top 5 in the nation in total defense. I don't know who the defensive coordinator is at Toledo. And they circled a bunch of schools that, wow. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about those teams.
Well, and let's not just look at stats. If we just look at stats and analytics, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot, and we're going to get a guy like Mike Riley coming in. And I say that because Toledo, man, okay, cool. Top 5 defense. Look at their schedule. They're a MAC team. They play Ball State, for Christ's sake. Of course you're going to be able to hold Ball State to under 100 yards. They can't move the ball. Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, they play crap teams. And so, I heard Toledo's name come out and all this talk about the North Texas coach and the Tulane coach and how they're going to flip these programs because they're putting up such big numbers. And I'm like, man, their conference is crap though. So when they get to big boy football, they're going to find out real quick. And God, I just think the same as all the names that you said, other than maybe Mark Stoops. But God, I really don't want Mark Stoops. All the names that you said, those are guys that haven't played anybody. So until you've been in this atmosphere, Shaner is chiming in. 4 years ago on Bussin' with the Boys, that's the Compton Llewellyn podcast. Bo stated that while he didn't say a definitive no, he doesn't see it happening because the administration would, quote, never allow it. The administration's changed.
Yes, it has.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a new administration, and I think there's a new thought process that's going along as well. And this administration, let's be clear, they know that the number one goal is to, and here's what I'm saying, and why I say this. You look at it and you want to talk about all sports being treated equal, and we're a volleyball state now because we got the nation's number one volleyball team, and our basketball teams are undefeated, and we have the longest active undefeated streak in the nation. And yet, the stories that dominate the headlines come out of this football program, right? The number one goal of this administration has to be to turn this football program and at least get it to the point where it's a contender for a college football playoff. And in this current state, we're not. So this administration is probably going to be pretty open to maybe a Bo Pelini comeback. Or at least they should be. He's my number one candidate, period, end of discussion. I'm giving him a blank check.
Wow.
Welcome back, Bo. Come on, we need you.
402-834-1330 if you'd like to chime in with us today. A lot to discuss here in the first 20 minutes. We're calling for the return of Bo Pelini as our defensive coordinator.
Hell yes.
Your thoughts. Leave us a couple of messages on our social media sites as well as we discuss that. As long as we're talking about coaches, Kentucky, we told you that Stoops is out at Kentucky, Mark Stoops, after 13 years. Mm-hmm. They go out and hire Oregon's offensive coordinator, Will Stein, to be the school's next head football coach. Stein agreed to a 5-year deal with the Cats. He'll remain in his role as Oregon's offensive coordinator and play caller throughout the team's playoff run this year. The Ducks finished the regular season 11-1. They were 6th in last week's college football playoff rankings. Again, the Kentucky fired longtime coach Mark Stoops after 13 seasons on Sunday. The Wildcats finished with a 5-7 record this season after going 4-8 in 2024. So Mark Stoops is out, and Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein is now the new head coach at Kentucky.
That almost feels like a job downgrade. But, yeah. The SEC, the amount of money that they're paying for these coaches is insane. Let's just say that. I mean, from where we were at with coaches' salaries 2 years ago to now in the NIL world and the competitive arms race to get a leader for your football program, the amount of money that's being shelled around for these coaches is, I mean, I'm sitting here telling you right now, to any athletic director in the country, I will work for a cheeseburger, a $100 bill, and a bottle of beer after a game. Like, if you want a low-budget coach to come in and try to flip your program, I'm your guy because I work for cheap. But in all seriousness, yeah, a big hire for Kentucky. I didn't think they'd be able to pry the offensive coordinator and heir apparent. If Lanning gets a call for the bank to come in from an NFL team or a top 5 program, which I believe he thinks Oregon is, the OCs that are heir apparent to take over that Oregon job, and I thought he was kind of maybe possibly going to wait it out a little bit more, so good job for Kentucky to be able to pry him away. The other thing I wanted to get to on the coaching carousel front has completely escaped my mind, so we will continue.
Pat Fitzgerald, we kind of mentioned this yesterday. It's official now. Pat Fitzgerald, the former Northwestern head coach, is going to take over at Michigan State. He replaces Jonathan Smith, who was fired on Sunday after a victory against Maryland to cap off a 4-8 season. So Fitzgerald is back during his 17-year run as a coach at Northwestern. He was 110 and 101, ranking 14th all-time for wins among Big Ten coaches. But over his final 2 years at Northwestern, he was 4-20. He reached a settlement with Northwestern in August, 2 years after he sued the university amid a team hazing scandal that led to his firing following an investigation. But Pat Fitzgerald is back on in the coaching ranks. He's now at Michigan State.
There you go.
That's another guy that I ran into when I was covering. I went to the Big Ten Media Days once with you-know-who in Indianapolis, and Pat Fitzgerald is one of the guys that I got to talk to, and I kind of like Pat Fitzgerald. So good to see him back with the coaching reins again, he's going to be at Michigan State.
Knows the Big Ten pretty well. So I wanted to get to this point because I saw it yesterday on the quote-unquote worldwide leader in sports, ESPN. There's a Mike Greenberg show, and I don't remember who the hell made the comment, some former backup has-been quarterback, that was griping about the way that the NCAA schedules the college football playoff. And I'm over here scratching my head on this comment because he was like trying to defend Lane Kiffin for not wanting to take Ole Miss to a potential playoff berth and national championship for the program, and he was defending Lane Kiffin for essentially jumping ship. A lot of people are angry, and rightfully so, about the way that this whole situation has been handled. But he was sitting and he was griping about the schedule of the college football playoffs, and I'm over here thinking, how else are you going to do it? Like, I mean, he was firing bullets at the NCAA. Like, the timing of this all is terrible. The regular season comes to an end for a lot of teams. And then the postseason begins. And when the regular season comes to an end, that's when you go get coaches. Like, it's the same in the NFL. The Monday after the regular season, we refer to it as, right, Black Monday, and coaches get fired and the coaching carousel begins. You're going to have a gap between the regular season and the playoffs. When else were they supposed to hire him?
Yeah, with the recruiting coming up, the recruiting signing day is coming up, like tomorrow. Yeah, when are you going to hire a coach? Kids want to know who's going to be the driver of the bus, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, my question is, like, you're bringing up an argument and you're firing bullets at the NCAA, but what are they supposed to do? Like, have the playoffs before the regular season ends? Like that doesn't make any sense. So the whole 15-minute spiel about, oh, well, let's defend Lane Kiffin and stand by his decision. Like nobody's at fault here. It's just the way the circumstance played out, right? Like, he goes to Ole Miss saying, hey, man, I'd like to say Ole Miss. And really, if you're going to point the finger at anybody and play the blame game here, take a look at the Ole Miss administration. You know, Lane says, hey, I want to finish out, and I want to finish what I started here, but I'm taking this LSU job. And they say, no, get the hell out of here. Like, you can't be mad at that.
That was the most surprising thing out of that whole deal. Why didn't they allow him to stay? They got a potential to make a run in the college football playoff. Ole Miss does. Why wouldn't you allow your coach to stay?
Mm-hmm. So rather than sit here and chew out LSU and Lane Kiffin, like, let's look at the Ole Miss administration and scratch our heads a little bit, because that's one of the most things that dumbfounds me, is that they just said, you know what, just go. Thanks for getting us here, but if you want to go somewhere else, you're not good enough to be here. Like, that's a really bad mentality, and it's probably why that football program's going to fade back into irrelevancy.
Yeah, that was the most surprising thing.
I agree.
Like Kentucky, they hired the Oregon offensive coordinator, but they've come to an agreement where Will Stein is going to stay on as the offensive coordinator for as long as Oregon is in the playoffs.
And that should be the way it's done.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Not now your team's getting ready for the college football playoff, and we're going to blow out the head coach. We're going to blow out the head coach, and who knows what else is going to happen there.
Look at the staff with him.
Well, that whole team could fall apart.
Absolutely.
That whole team could fall apart here. And I think when the college football playoff rankings come out here, I think that's today, will that committee take that into consideration now?
That's a tough asterisk ask. We already had, like, a big debate a couple of years ago with the college football playoff committee and whether, because remember,
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State's resume, right?
Yep.
It looked amazing. Their resume was great, but they lost their quarterback to injury, and they took that into consideration. You have to take into consideration a coaching change and transfer portal.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, I mean, you set the precedent. You've set the precedent that off-the-field actions can implicate a team's, or can, I guess, intervene on a team's resume, you've set that precedent with Florida State. You have to follow that through with Ole Miss.
We'll see what happens.
That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, that'll come out to sometime today.
But, of course, Ole Miss is in the SEC, and Florida State was in the ACC, and there's, of course, the ESPN college football bias towards the SEC. I'm going to get my tinfoil hat on tomorrow when Ole Miss is in the playoffs.
They won't do anything now. They won't do anything.
Speaking of the playoffs, coming up later this hour after the news and sports break, we're going to talk a little playoff team because a team from the ACC, Duke or Virginia, is going to earn an automatic berth into college football playoff because the ACC gets a team. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
like
that
kangaroo
bugs
court.
That bugs you.
Oh, it bugs me bad because those are bad teams.
Couple other coaching things that I want to get to.
Yeah.
James Madison.
JMU.
Bob Chesney.
Dukes.
He's emerged as the target of UCLA's coaching search. Looks like he's going to be in line. He's going to sign a 5-year deal with UCLA. It could be finalized as soon as James Madison's Sun Belt Championship game this weekend. Chesney's James Madison team is 11-1 this season, and they play Troy this week in the Sun Belt Championship. So yes, UCLA is going after the head coach at James Madison to be their next head coach.
Falls under the Kirk Cignetti family of coaching. That's where Kurt Cignetti came from before he went to Indiana. UCLA hoping to ignite the same kind of magic that Indiana saw under Kirk Cignetti. So, yeah, we'll see how that comes to fruition. I'm really surprised, though, that they didn't go after Little Neuheisel. That they didn't just sign Little Neuheisel.
Yeah.
Because he turned that football program really from the depths of hell.
Well, he's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
he was the offensive coordinator. And when they had the coaching change, Neuheisel came on and was the offensive coordinator.
Right.
So,
I'm surprised.
Anyway, they go with Bob Chesney from James Madison. Oh, wait, there's still more. Remember yesterday when we said Penn State was being quiet in their search, and now what they're going to do? Because a lot of the top names in the coaching ranks were signing with teams. Well, Penn State evidently is now focusing on the head coach at BYU, Kalani Sitake. The sides evidently have been in discussion. No deal has been signed yet. The sides have met. There's evidently mutual interest with discussions involving staffing and other details of Sitake's possible tenure at State College being discussed right now. Number 11, BYU, plays on Saturday against number 5, Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, with the winner securing an automatic bid to the college football playoff. Sitake has been BYU's head coach since 2016, winning more than 65% of his games. He guided BYU to an 11-2 mark in 2024, and the Cougars are 11-1 this year. So Penn State, after axing James Franklin early in the season, hoping to grab one of the big-name coaches, now in talks with BYU head coach Kalani Sitake.
Do you suppose he'll carry over the code of conduct to Penn State? Like, are Penn State recruits worried that they can't have premarital sex now?
Yeah, we discussed that earlier in the year when they got into trouble out there at BYU.
Fired their quarterback.
Yeah, got rid of their quarterback for having premarital sex out there at the BYU. So I thought that was interesting. After all that, after all these months, Penn State has saw kind of the cookies crumble here, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now they're centering in on BYU head coach Kalani Sitake as their top choice now to take that job. I'd
rather have my interim coach.
That's what I was going to say. Would you hire Kalani Sitake, or would you hire the guy that you have had in the position as head coach, the interim head coach, who evidently has a lot of fan support and player support to be named the head coach, and now you're going out and getting the coach at BYU, Kalani Sitake. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like going down the line if you were at a school that had less girls than boys and going down the line and asking your favorites to prom and getting turned down and having to, like, settle for a sophomore. Like, I don't know. I think they're settling. And at that point, why don't you just settle for the guy that the players and the fan base is kind of already rallying around with their coordinator? It seems like you didn't win that round of the coaching carousel, so you might as well wait it out another year.
Yeah, give this guy a couple of years. Certainly, he has kept the team together.
Yeah,
he wasn't amazing down the stretch, but he's kept the team together, and they picked up some wins. They blew us out at the end of the season.
Well, most people did. So did Minnesota.
So did Iowa. So, all right, a lot of coaching news talking about here in our first half hour of the show. If you'd like to chime in, we'd love to hear from you. 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. That's the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. If you'd like to chime in with us here at the breakfast table, you can. If you'd like to leave us a message on our social media sites, like a lot of folks are, you can do it that way, too. We'll get to those comments here in just a little bit. But it's already 7:37 here on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Roughly a month after Senator Dan McEwen of Amherst was cited for misdemeanor public indecency, the Nebraska legislature is still trying to figure out how to respond and has yet to settle on any disciplinary action. Now, McEwen allegedly touched a staffer's buttocks during a post-session party this past spring, prompting a citation by the Nebraska State Patrol. He denies the claim, calling the contact a lighthearted exchange. I want to use that next time I get in trouble. A lighthearted exchange. But state leaders, including Jim Pillen, Governor Jim Pillen, have urged him to resign. Now, as of late November, the legislature's executive board has met at least once behind closed doors, but no formal action or public vote has been announced. McEwen is scheduled to appear in Lancaster County Court on December 10th. Meanwhile, Mark Cohen has launched a nonpartisan bid for the U.S. House in Nebraska's 3rd Congressional District against longtime incumbent Adrian Smith in the 2026 midterms. Cohen, a former Air Force attorney and karate instructor, filed to run as an independent, saying Nebraskans are, quote, fed up with a two-party system that forces us to choose between two extremes, end quote. His platform includes support for regulated gun rights, legalizing and regulating marijuana, stronger protections for agriculture, restoring rural health care, requiring paper ballots, and advocating regulated capitalism. Cohen frames himself as a voice for rural Nebraskans rather than party bosses or big donors, a challenge in a district that is among the nation's most conservative and heavily GOP-leaning. Hope Harbor of Grand Island, a nonprofit helping families experiencing homelessness, has received over $1 million grant from the Bezos Day One Families Fund. The gift is the largest in Hope Harbor's history and will support emergency and transitional shelters, as well as accelerate development of permanent supportive housing under the nonprofit Lighthouse Apartments Project. With the funding, they plan to serve more families and improve shelter safety and dignity over the next 5 years, marking a major step forward for a housing stability efforts in the community, especially as supportive housing in the city remains scarce. It's 7:40. Mike, we'll spin things back over to you on the East Side Studios. What's going down in sports?
Well, Purdue is ranked number 1 in the latest AP men's college basketball poll. The Boilermakers are 7-0 in the season. Arizona is second, followed by Michigan, Duke, and UConn. Rounding out the top 10 are Louisville, Michigan State, Houston, BYU, and Iowa State. Illinois is 14th, and USC is 24th. UConn leads the women's poll, followed by Texas, South Carolina, UCLA, and LSU. The Nebraska women's basketball team will play host to Bradley on Wednesday. The men will host Creighton on Sunday. Nebraska has parted ways with defensive coordinator John Butler, who spent one season as Nebraska's defensive coordinator in 2025. He joined the program in 2024 as the defensive backs coach. Phil Snow will serve as the interim defensive coordinator for our upcoming bowl game. Hastings College basketball teams will play at Midland University tomorrow night. The Bronco women are 5-3 on the season. The men are 2-6. Women's game will be at 6 with the men to follow at 7:45. We'll have the action on Extreme Sports beginning with the pregame show at 5:45 tomorrow afternoon. High school basketball season gets underway this week. On Thursday, the Hastings High boys and girls will play at Seward. The St. Cecilia boys and girls will host SCOTUS. And the Adams Central boys and girls will play at Aurora. We'll have the Adams Central games here on Extreme Sports, beginning with the pregame show at 4:45 on Thursday afternoon. In the NFL last night, New England beat the New York Giants by the score of 33-15. Patriots quarterback Drake May completed 24 of 31 passes for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. New England is now 11-2 on the season. They'll be off this weekend. They'll play host to Buffalo coming up on December the 14th. That's a check in your sports headlines at 7:42 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Tuesday will be probably one of the warmest days of the week, even though we'll have plenty of sunshine. It'll still only be in the upper 30s, but that's going to feel like a heat wave after the last week we had, especially with the winter weather. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour as well. Mostly cloudy and 23 overnight tonight. Then on Wednesday, we're much cooler. We'll see 30 degrees for high and falling temperatures. 3 for the overnight low into Thursday morning. 30 and sunny on Thursday and 40 on Friday.
As you wake up, get going this morning. Southwest winds at 7. Cloudy skies, it is 17 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Have you checked the time lately? Good chance a Miletta Vista Winery is open. Hey, this is Mick with an update on our new hours. Tuesday through Sunday, we're open 11:30 to 3, and Fridays and Saturdays 11:30 till 9. Not sure what you want to enjoy when you get here? Well, Miletta Vista features award-winning wine, select beers, spirits, world-class foods, breathtaking views, and live entertainment. Visit MilettaVistaWinery.com. Check out our events page for music schedules and more. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Make your reservations now at Miletta Vista Winery, located on Highway 281, just north of St. Paul.
Get ready for the ultimate trivia experience with Extreme Sports Trivia. Play from anywhere at home, on the go, or at your favorite bar or restaurant. Compete live against players from all over in real time, answering questions across categories like sports, pop culture, Marvel, and more. Want to see how you stack up? Track your progress with live leaderboards and aim for the top spot. It's free, fun, and super easy to play. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at extremesports.com trivia and start playing now. And keep an eye out. We're coming soon to a bar or restaurant near you.
All right, Mike Wells, Tyson and Bronick with you. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Again, if you're listening on the website, extreme-sports.com, maybe on your smartphone with our free mobile app, your smart speaker, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're listening to us or watching us. Thanks for joining us here today. First half hour, most of the first half hour talked about maybe a possible return of Bo Pelini to take over as the defensive coordinator at Nebraska. Your thoughts on that, if you'd like to chime in, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. That's the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. Give us a call. If you'd like to leave us a message on the social media sites, you can. Just looking at some of the thoughts, Chief is chiming in. Bo would be great. I just don't see that happening. Mark Stoops would be pretty good. And the defensive coordinator from Penn State, if he gets let go, would be another option. I don't know who the defensive coordinator is of Penn State, but those are some thoughts from the Chief. Lou Doggy's chiming in with, I guess, when your comment that the ESPN SEC bias. They've got game day scheduled for this weekend in Atlanta.
Sure.
Instead of being at the game that's going to feature number 1 against number 2.
Yeah, but I'll defend this. Ohio State versus Indiana is still not sexy in the national media scope. As far as college football is concerned, Ohio State versus Indiana, even though it's number 1 and number 2, and I understand that, and yeah, you can argue that, and that's a very valid argument. It's still not sexy, and you want clicks, and you want game day atmosphere. You're gonna get that in Atlanta over Indianapolis, and I'm actually really surprised that this move was made to the SEC championship game because of the McAfee factor. You would have figured that as big of an Indianapolis guy as he is, and he will defend that city to the death. I'm a little surprised by it. But that said, Georgia, Bama, and the fan bases that's going to generate for college game day is a better atmosphere and a better backdrop and a better setting than Atlanta or than Indianapolis for the Big Ten title game. That's my defense. Based on the sexiness and attractiveness of the matchup, Georgia-Bama is going to win game day.
I would maybe fall on your island on that one.
Yep.
All right, you've got evidently a problem with the college football playoff. You want to get some stuff off of your chest here this morning. You've been itching because you kind of teased me. You teased me yesterday with the idea that you wanted to talk about this today.
I have my judge robe on, or my baseball jersey that I'm going to don as a judge robe here for today. I want to listen to arguments from the rest of our live lobby today. I want to listen to the arguments. I want to have them make cases for the automatic bid that the ACC, as a quote-unquote Power 4 conference, that they automatically get to send a team in. And I want to hear your arguments because the ACC is sending, potentially to represent their conference, Virginia or Duke. and it has been well documented my disdain for Virginia as the frauds of the top 25 with their schedule and the amount of games and teams that have no business. They struggled with Cal. They had to go to overtime to beat the Cal Golden Bears. They struggled, but back asswards bounced into victories in an overall awful conference. The ACC cannot even compare to the mediocre, middle-of-the-road Big Ten teams. In fact, and I will say this, and I will say this boldly, even without a defensive coordinator, if you threw Nebraska in the ACC title game, either against Duke or Virginia, I can say confidently that Nebraska will win that football game. That's how bad the top tier of the ACC has been this season. And if you throw Nebraska in that matchup against a Virginia or a Duke, I would 100% guarantee you that we win that football game. But we go 7-5. We fire a defensive coordinator for being middle of the road in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, somebody in the ACC is going to celebrate a berth in the college football playoff. At what point can we all just mutually agree? And I'm asking, and I want to hear the plaintiffs, I want to hear the defendants, I want to hear both sides of this argument. The ACC, based on their strength of conference, does not deserve a seat at the table. And in fact, I would argue that the college football playoff, the top 12 teams in the nation, should just be the top 12 teams in the nation. And I don't care if 8 of them come from the SEC and 4 of them come from the Big Ten. If that's the top 12 teams in the nation, let's play it.
How are you going to rank the top 12 teams? I know you don't like the AP poll. Do you like the college football playoff poll?
I like a committee.
That's a committee? Nope, a committee. There's going to be differing opinions. How do you rank the top 12 teams?
But the committee comes out with a consensus. It doesn't belong in the hands of the media because we've already seen what happens when it goes to the media.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
We have somebody that says, no, we literally had somebody who was quoted this year saying, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun with it. Like, you lose your credentials at that point. When you make a stupid ass comment like that, and the poll itself loses a lot of credibility when you have a comment that gets made like that. So I'm fine with the committee coming to a consensus and saying here's the best 12 teams in the nation, but let's rank them 1 through 12 and let's sort it out, or rank them 1 through 16 and let's sort it out. Okay, first argument coming in the court case. Shane Will is taking to the stage. If the situation were flipped, there should be a Big Ten school in the playoffs, compares to the NFL when there is a crap team in the playoffs because they won their division. That's a fair argument.
Yeah, in the NFL.
Somebody from the NFC South is going to be in the playoffs. Right now the Carolina Panthers are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, so I can see that point because
I get that point.
There'd be a lot of teams on the outside looking in that could beat the Carolina Panthers.
I get that point. I can understand that. That's not saying it's right.
Are you? I know you don't like the ACC.
It's weak.
So are you against a team to be the strong underdog like the NCAA basketball tournament? There are some teams that make the basketball tournament that probably should not be in there. But yet you cheer for those teams when we get to the basketball season, to the NCAA tournament. You cheer for those underdog teams. Why don't we have an underdog team from the ACC to enter the college football playoff?
I really don't. I'm a blue blood guy.
No, you like those underdogs.
I like it when Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, and give me one more team, Michigan State, make the Final Four.
But you also like teams upsetting those 4 teams throughout the playoffs. Thus, your finish in the basketball bracket last year, you were on page 3 because you took some of those teams. You like seeing those teams do well in a tournament. Why not allow the ACC, and we know they're a weaker conference compared to the rest of them, why not let a team in for the ACC?
Because there's only 12 spots.
That's all right.
There's only 12 spots, and the fact that you give 2 of them to one, the ACC, the other to the best of the rest, if you will.
Yeah, the other 6 or whatever.
Yeah, the best of the rest, they get a team in.
So they're going to eat some of your turkey and mashed potatoes, and you don't like that.
Precisely.
They get a spot at the table, and you don't like
that. That's my turkey and my mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't like that. They're stealing some of your mashed potatoes and leftover turkey from Thanksgiving.
But there's just not there's not enough. I cooked for one, baby. Like there's not enough to share. Like
yeah,
and you know what? It goes back to there would be if you expanded it to 16. But again, in its current form, at 12, the fact that 2 of those spots get eaten up by 2 schools that, quite frankly, and no disrespect to the mid-major conferences or the ACC, don't deserve to be in the same breath as some of those teams that are in the playoffs. That's where my issue lies. But I will concede to Shane's point. I think that's a very valid argument. But there's also 32 NFL teams and there's 134 college football teams. So the argument that 2 of those spots get eaten up by shit conferences, I'm not buying it. Give me the best 12 teams. That's what I want to watch in the postseason.
Yeah, so the college football playoff bracket will be finalized this week after the championship games in most of the major conferences. The bracket will be out on Sunday, and then the rest of the bowl games, the also-rans, will be determined following that. So Nebraska will find out where we are going for our bowl game this year following the selection of the 12 teams in the college football playoffs. So,
heard any more rumor on that, by the way?
I read some stuff this morning. It looks like Las Vegas. Las Vegas has the picking choice above the bowl game, the Music City Bowl in Nashville. And evidently, I was listening to some comments from Sean Callahan this morning. He said Vegas wants Nebraska.
Of course they do.
So, and the Las Vegas Bowl picks before the Music City Bowl. So if Nebraska is available, which they think they will be at that point, they think Las Vegas. Most of the experts, though, are thinking the Music City Bowl for some reason.
Is that game played at Allegiant Stadium?
Yes. On the New Year's Eve, like at 2:30 in the afternoon. So if you're making your New Year's Eve plans, get ready. Nebraska might be playing on New Year's Eve at 2:30.
You know what that means?
That's up against the college football playoff, isn't it?
That doesn't matter. You know what that means? We're not working New Year's Eve.
Wait a minute. I think I have a basketball game.
Oh, shit.
On New Year's Eve. Somebody's working New Year's Eve.
Oh, man.
All right, 7:57, waking up with Mike and Tyson. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at
You're listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Again, basketball tomorrow night. Hastings College playing at Midland, beginning at 5:45. And then Thursday and Friday, we'll have high school basketball. Adams Central at Aurora on Thursday, beginning at 4:45 from the Aurora Sports Complex. Then on Friday, we'll have Hastings High at home against Lincoln Standing Bearer, beginning at 5:45. Then on Saturday, back with Hastings College basketball, the Broncos and Northwestern. Get to play at home finally. Saturday, Northwestern and Hastings beginning at about 1:45 on Saturday afternoon. Been on the road with the Broncos.
I was going to say, we haven't had a home game.
No, I haven't done a home game all year. And finally here in December, when we started the season back in October, we finally get to have a home game. I won't know how to act. Saturday, home game, Broncos in Northwestern.
Just be on your best behavior.
I will be. All right.
Who needs guests? You were all worried before the show started. You're like, I don't have any guests lined up. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. We got plenty to talk about. We had 2 topics today.
Yeah, we've been talking about the coaches. We've been talking about the college football playoff. We had a little news, had a little sports. Bring you up to date on what's going on. Again, we'll keep our eyes and ears open. We'll see if any more changes are coming into Nebraska. You would think if some more changes are going to be made, it would happen this week.
Yeah.
It would happen this week. They wouldn't. They wouldn't delay the fact that they're going to make more changes, would they?
But I would have thought that both would have happened at the same time. Like, if you're going to go and you're going to go give people their pink slips, wouldn't you make the wholesale changes and not like, okay, you avoided a round of firing, get a guy like to breathe a little bit easier and then bring him in the next day and fire his ass?
Yeah.
Like I can't see that being the move, so...
But if you go in and start cleaning house and then national perception for Nebraska would be, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? They're cleaning house. They fired their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, offensive line coach. Somebody's going to have to drive the ship.
Well, to me, it stresses urgency, right? Like the urgency that we need to win and win now. And we're tired of waiting around and settling. So as a college football potential recruit, if I see, they're getting rid of a DC, they're getting rid of that to me is a coach that's hungry to get victories and get victories next year. So you could look at it both ways. You could look at it both ways. By the way, did you see the fantasy football scores this week?
I know who beat me.
I know who damn near beat me, and I wouldn't have been able to show my face on camera this morning. There's only been one player from our fantasy football league that is officially eliminated from playoff contention with 2 wins on the season.
And she had
and I was on the ropes. I had to wait till the very last extra point was kicked.
Are you kidding me?
To win by 1 point, 76-75.
You beat KK?
I am praying to God that there are no stat corrections that come out today that alter the course of this matchup because I was sweating. You could have laid it on thick. Because I was bragging all season long. I got off to like a 6-0 start.
Yeah.
I was flying high, and I was thinking that this was going to be my money year. And then injuries occurred, and then bye weeks happened, and next thing you know, I'm spiraling down the standings. And we were in a struggle with KK this weekend.
So New England kicked the last extra point, and that put you over?
Yes. My kicker was my leading scorer this week.
I know I was against Stroman. I had the lead going into last night, but he also had Drake May, and I only had a couple of point lead over Stroman. So
yeah, that didn't
I knew when I woke up this morning and saw that May was 24 out of 31, 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. I didn't even look at the score.
107-88. You got blown out.
107-88. I'm surprised that he has not chimed in with that fact.
He probably doesn't even know he won.
He's got to be up by now.
This is the same guy who forgot to set his fantasy NASCAR lineup and still beat you?
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't heard from him. Because he texted you the other day at 4:30 in the morning.
Dude, that was way too early.
To tell you that he is 3-1 in his Blazing 5 picks going into the Monday night game, or the Sunday night game, or whatever it was.
Richardson and Hackler have clinched a playoff berth in the league.
In our league.
KK is still the only person mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. I am in... How is that? I'm tied with Hackler for 8-5 record, but Hackler has clinched a playoff berth. It must be a head-to-head situation, because we're tied. I'm tied for second, but he's clinched and I haven't. But I have a 99% chance to make the playoffs.
You're in.
I like those odds.
You're in.
I like those odds. You have a 37% chance.
I'm still struggling.
Playoffs. Okay.
Just
Good
like
show.
my Blazing 5.
Good show.
All right, we've discussed a lot today. If you'd like to go back and listen to our thoughts today, you can just download the podcast, any one of our social media sites. Listen to the show again at your convenience throughout the day. A lot of guests lined up later on in the week, so we invite you to join us. We do this each and every weekday morning, for the most part, Monday through Friday from 7 until 8 o'clock.
For the most part? What does that mean?
Sometimes we take the day off. And if you take the day off, I take the day off. Same way with me. If I take the day off, you take the day off. So for the most part, we get together 7 until 8, Monday through Friday. Kind of count on us. We're kind of here, mostly.
That should be our new slogan. Huddle up. You can kind of count on us.
We're usually here. So anyway, we'll definitely be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8.